Hey everybody, it is LSID932 on YouTube. Thank you for joining me. This is episode 10 of Married at First Sight Austin, season 19. Y'all, we just came off the whirlwind of the couple letting us know that they're expecting, and now we're off to the retreat. One couple, unfortunately, will not be with us on the retreat is Rhonda and Pat. Apparently, Rhonda has a family weekend with the kids and grandkids. They go on vacation together. Pat, of course, as her husband, will be going with her, and it's a whole family affair. So they will not be with us at this retreat. So we see Megan and Derek. Oh, we find out it's 2 days. And these people are packing like it's going to be 20 days, okay? Megan and Derek, they want to plant pranks around the cabin, so they pack and leave early. As a middle child, Derek tells us, is why he likes pranks. Now we understand. Now I understand a lot about you, Derek. That middle child thing, okay? Brittany is most excited to hang out with Will. She tells him he's who she's excited to be around. Megan is feeling tired a lot now, Derek tells us, but it's way early in her pregnancy. And they're not ready to tell anyone. But they do take the room with the larger bathtub. Now, I know she likes her cold plungers, but I wonder if she should be doing those while expecting. If you know, please let us know in the comments. Now, they planted quite a few. One, meows like a cat. One has cricket sounds. They also planted like fake toilet paper, meaning toilet paper without any dots so you could tear it. So it just keeps on rolling. We're going to find out about that later. Somebody had a run-in with that toilet tissue. So Josh and Jalen arrive and they say they're going to pick the next best room. And Jalen says, well, if her mom doesn't have a great room, they'll just give up theirs to her and Chad. No, Jalen. If I was Josh, I'd be like, no, you could put another room to the side for your mama, put your bag in it so you could hold it for her. But if we pick a room for us, we ain't giving it up. I'm sorry. Maybe I'm selfish. Maybe that's the only child in me. Derek got his middle child coming out. Maybe my only child is coming out. So then we see Belinda and Chad arrive. Then we see Brittany and Will arrive. And Brittany said this is her dream home. But they do tell us that they are in a better place. Now the ladies go off to talk. The men go off to talk. Let's start with the ladies. Belinda said, she made it work with that weird toilet paper. Megan is sitting there with a straight face. Brittany says that, Will would say something awesome and then he would say something off that will throw her off. Remember, he said like, oh, if it was decision day today, he would definitely pick her. Then he said, I don't know what's going to happen in 30 days if I would still feel this way. That's what she means. Jalen said Josh has deep feelings for festivals that she doesn't have. Brittany says, maybe he felt he needed festivals and that kind of community when he was single. Maybe it's just season in life. Jalen said that they have a different way of seeing what is a community, and he doesn't see his friend group as a community, which is very different for me. I think your friend group is your first community. So what do you think about that? He thinks these strangers at this event are his community, but the friends who've been with him aren't. That's very odd to me. Please put in the comments, what do you think community means? So the men talk, and Chad said he has no doubt about Belinda. Derek said it's a yes for him for Megan. And Will said yes is for decision day if it was today, but not sure if it's a month from now. Now, he has not said, I love you, and he differentiates their different categories of love. And he hasn't met all the categories. And Chad was like, Will, are you an analyst of some kind? Are you an engineer? Because you have a lot of qualifiers at the end of every statement. Chad clocked it, and I'm hoping he helps Will communicate better. Josh says that they worked through some things with the experts and they're in a better place, him and Jalen. Now, Jalen and Belinda go talk to the side, and, Belinda says, hey, he has only known community as the festivals. And maybe he just needs to see it differently. And Jalen, as his wife, needs to help him along. And Jalen said he didn't feel like he was appreciating her. She didn't feel appreciated, Josh. You got to change that up. Belinda said it has nothing to do with her. Nothing to do with her. It's about him and how he sees community. Now they do have a dinner, and at the dinner they hear the cat meowing. But they start thinking maybe it's a fake cat because they've never actually seen the cat. And Chad said it scared the out of him when he went into their room. So I guess Jalen and Josh gave up that room. Okay. Brittany does appreciate Will's mind and how, he talks. She now understands him more. He compliments her and says how he appreciates her. Now, Chad shares that his wife just glows and he feels safe with her, and he doesn't feel safe with many people. Now, Jalen is happy for her mom and didn't care if it worked out for her, but she wanted it for her mom. And I said, that's something to say. You kind of sound like Will. I hope Josh wasn't offended that, you didn't care about if our relationship was good. You care about your mom. So I'm wondering, do you put your mom before yourself a lot, Jalen? And where does that come from? I have questions. We do say Jalen and Josh is frustrated in how he sees community differently, and he has not seen it through his groups of friends. Now, to him, spin class is just friends hanging out and not a community. Josh, I'm going to need you to rethink that. That is people. I need to know what his definition of community, because for me, it's about the people you come together with, no matter what you do, but the people who are there for you and with you. He says he's still learning. He never played sports before, and he's never had that kind of community, so that's why he doesn't see community in that way. He does feel like she's getting agitated when he doesn't get it the way she's trying for him to receive it. Now she says she needs him to say that he sees her and knows who she is after these 6 to 7 weeks, and she's getting frustrated. And she says again, she needs him to just say how he knows her and that he knows who she is. He again told her not to cut him off, and then she starts to cry. She keeps on saying, you need to say what type of person you see me as. And he finally gets it. It finally clicks for him that he needs to just say exactly what she said. Tell me you know me, that I'm a kind, loving person, and he goes from there. See, Josh, all those things you said in this scene, you could have written in that letter that you didn't want to write to her. Interesting. But he does apologize. He does list who she is, how he sees her, and he wants to do better in the future. Derek and Megan, they say they are good. They kept their secret and no one pressured her to drink. I'm liking that. I'm glad no one was really pushing that, because I think somebody else on the cast doesn't drink. And I can't remember who. Chad and Belinda state that they have solved it all and that Megan and Derek have pranked them. Okay, y'all put a pin in that. That's going to come back. Rhonda and Pat, they're having a good family trip. Derek said that he may grow a mullet because his mom said that she likes his hair longer in the back. Megan said, okay, then she may not wax anymore. And Derek freezes and says that may be a problem. Derek and Megan, Will and Brittany, they go play pickleball. Brittany says she's not a good loser. They were losing, downright losing, because she was just throwing away points. But, Derek says, the love that they shared with each other, the I love yous, helped them get through tough things. Because now Megan understands that everything he's doing is from a place of love, and so she can let her guard down. Will says they know to use a different vocabulary with each other to kind of get their points across. So they ask, what does Brittany need to work on? And he really doesn't have anything to say. So she's like, so you're saying I'm perfect? She's like, I know I'm not perfect. Will says he doesn't know how to maneuver around her feelings. Nothing she can do about it. It just is what it is. He said he really wasn't irritated before, but he's irritated now because she kept pushing and pushing and pushing for him to say something was wrong with her. Okay? He doesn't like it when she keeps digging in that way to find out what's not good. But she wants him to share most of his feelings and not just let things go. Now they're both saying or doing the same thing. So they both need to basically share their feelings in the moment. Like, Will, like you saw her feelings and you didn't know how to navigate. Say, hey, I'm getting a vibe that you're a little bit off. How do I navigate this? Because I don't want to, push you away. Just say something like that. Then she could kind of understand and y'all could have a conversation. But the ladies go for a walk, Megan and Brittany. And Brittany said he moody. And Megan said, yes, she did see his mood shift. Okay. Brittany says that he does not share how he feels. And is it to avoid confrontation or that he doesn't care? We got to stop trying, she's like, and at some point we got to just do. Megan said he needs to be vulnerable. And he's not, vulnerable with you, but it's not about you. It's him. So Brittany doesn't think that he likes her. Okay. And that he needs to just tell her right now so she don't get more invested. And Megan say, hey, I don't think that's it. I think he really does like you. He just doesn't know how to communicate. Will and Derek talk. Will says, she asked me and is always thinking, is it about her? Is it, it's very centered around her. That if he's moody or if he has an attitude or if he changes, it's got to be about her. Okay. And he said it's hard to bring things up because if he says something, she's going to internalize it. So Derek said, try not to be so blunt. Say your feelings, but realize she's trying to connect with you. Blunt can sometimes feel like rejection because Derek says he too used to be very blunt and he had to learn how to communicate best with Megan. Josh and Jalen, they go for a bike ride. Jalen says it feels weird riding to somewhere. I hollered laughing. Because remember, she is a spin class instructor, so the bike never moves anywhere. So now it's kind of odd that we're pedaling for real. Josh uses her instructions to her class to help motivate her. He's like, okay, come on, push it. You got to breathe. You got to breathe. He is doing it. And she cackles and says, I guess you have been listening. And they do ride to a wonderful lookout and they talk and summarize how they can, best communicate going forward. Now, Brittany is crying outside with Belinda, and Brittany thinks she is not Will's person. Why can't he just open up to her? Okay. He opens up to Chad, and he does that so easily. And Belinda said, hey, he doesn't owe Chad anything. He just has to be, a worthy individual with Chad, but he doesn't owe him his feelings. So Jalen arrives, and Belinda says, hey, his own mind may be what's holding him back. It has nothing to do with you, maybe. Now, Jalen does admit that since she spent so much time with Will now, he does overanalyze almost everything. Now, Belinda does say, hey, he's a slow burn, and he is showing, in his way how he, shows feelings, but it is not the way she receives feelings and words of affirmation. So Belinda does guide Brittany in a very good way of saying, is he willing to learn how to, speak to you and how to get his feelings across to you? Is he willing to learn her way of communication? So Jalen's like, this ain't working. This just ain't working. So Will and Brittany, they do have a conversation. He does apologize for not speaking to her in her language because remember, Derek kind of got him to hear that. And, she does get teary-eyed, but she denies it. Brittany, you're doing exactly what you accuse Will of doing, okay? Something is happening, but you say, oh no, nothing's happening. He said he knows he needs to be softer with her and with his word choice. And, she says it's bigger than that. And then she starts to really cry. He does pull her to him. She says, there's a reason why you're not opening up to me. Do you trust me enough to open up? And Will says, do you think I don't care? She answers that she knows he cares for her. Now, Brittany, when you ask, do you care? And you're like, I know you care for me. Give Will the chance to answer. Let the words come out of his mouth. Because I did not hear him in that moment unless it was edited out. I did not hear him say, he does care for you. I'm hearing you say, I know you care for me. Let him answer. So he said he can remind her in those moments, remind her better. He never actually says he cares for her that we heard. So Brittany does ask, am I your person? He says, yeah, we have a connection. He says, no, he doesn't say yeah, because that's the problem. He says the connection could be stronger. He thought there was one already. So she's like, what is missing? He's like, if he knew what was missing, we wouldn't be having these questions. Now, when he says the connection could be stronger, she immediately thought we don't have a connection. She's focused on what is not said, and he's focused on what is said. And basically the ambiguity of the future. I need them to get out of their head. We go to Pat and Rhonda. Now we hear from Rhonda that Pat said that he got tickets to a show for them, but he didn't consult with her as far as what date it is. So she's like, we need to have a shared calendar so we can kind of know, so we don't kind of, step on each other's toes with events, and we have proper planning. She says while she's talking to him about the shared calendar and the benefits of it, they're walking into a store. He walks right over to the cashier to buy what they needed, and she felt shut down. She does shut down. And she says he's pretty clueless. He is completely clueless. And Rhonda, I don't think that's the case, but you could have put your hand on his arm and say, hey, can we finish this conversation in the car? I know we need to pay for this and probably get back to the grandkids. We see Josh, Jalen, Chad, and Belinda. They in the kitchen plotting, y'all. They plotting revenge. Because they're like, hey, Megan and Derek, they got us with all these sounds and all these different things around the house. We got to get revenge. So Josh plans and say, hey, we have 100 water balloons here. We can surround them and then we can let it fly. Y'all, they come outside. Jalen has some water balloons in a drink carrier. Josh has a bag. Belinda has some in her hand. Chad has some in another container, but Chad ain't used all of his. But they run out and they start spraying them with the balloons. Derek runs around the side of the house and leaves Megan sitting there at the table. I said, daggone it. At least you know that she's your expecting wife, and you just run from the scene and leave her to fend for herself. Megan says she is annoyed because now she got to wash her hair again. Okay, really? That's why you're annoyed? Well, apparently dinner tonight, Chad is the chef again. And he made some gumbo and some garlic bread and some other things, okay? And Brittany says she's trying not to let the previous conversation affect her over dinner. And she's trying not to feed into it. We see Josh and Jalen, they say they will try to understand each other more in arguments. Chad said that he has in the past stopped to ask if it makes sense. What he's saying, if it made sense to his partner. Not saying his partner is unintelligent, but because he may not be saying it in the right way and it may be lost in translation. Derek says you got to ask these questions. Is this what you mean? Am I getting this right? Is this what you're trying to tell me? Will said he does need to ask more clarifying questions to make sure that they are on the same page. Now, the ladies tell him that what he needed to say differently to Brittany when asked about the whole connection thing. And they tell him that, yes, you should have started with, yes, we have a connection. And then you could say, it could be stronger. And here's where I think we're lacking and we can be stronger. And I think that was wonderful to hear. Will, you have to say the affirmation first. Yes, we are connected. Do we have more connection to gain? Yes. This is how I think we could do it. So Will says, yes, she needed more. She needed me to say more. Now, y'all, Brittany is quiet crying. And if anything, you've been around here, that quiet crying is what gets to me. That quiet crying is like, okay, either we gonna lash out or we gonna crash out or we gonna just crumble. So Megan said, it's how you say it too, okay? She would think that she is not good enough, or it is not good enough with the way you phrased it. Now, Brittany does thank the group for seeing her and understanding what needs to be done, and then she leaves to go to the restroom. She says she feels hurt and disappointed. And she says, everyone gets it. Everyone at the table gets it, but Will. He is so smart and so, in his head, but maybe he just doesn't want to get it. And maybe she is not his person. Y'all, that is the end of the episode. I hope to see you on the next one and definitely catching the live debate or conversation we have concerning this week's episodes. Thank you, and I'll see you on the next one. Thank you for watching. Please like, share, and subscribe to the channel.